you're being a misogynist is the least of your problems.
I am not a misogynist.
Let's go straight.
No, he loves
Come
women.
on. You deny that?
What is the evidence that I am a misogynist?
Every single thing you say about women.
Name one.
Name one.
Name one thing. Because this. I'm seriously. Name one
How
thing.
about everything you've
I
just
don't
said
think
about Michelle
psychiatrists should be
Bachman?
diagnosing people over the television.
What?
Just to state an obvious point.
Didn't think about that.
Wait a second. Michelle Bachman happens to be a woman. I can't talk about a woman if she's nuts.
No, but
she happens to be a person who's nuts. I'm not. It had nothing to do with her being a woman, did it really?
Number one, you manifestly have greater hatred for people like Sarah Palin and Michelle Bachman than you
I have
do
greater
for John
hatred for
Boehner.
idiots.
Well, that would be creepy, yeah.
I mean, do you really think I'm harder on Sarah Palin than I was on George Bush, a penis-carrying man?
And I believe you have called yourself pro-death since I've known you, and I hope that's just a coincidence.
I am pro-death. This guy's right. I am for euthanasia, I'm for the death penalty, and I'm for abortion.
Yeah, but if there is more black crime, it's because of poverty and because blacks get arrested more, not necessarily because they're more prone to crime. Would you not agree with that?
I'm not sure I understand all that. The point is, if you abort more,
I'm saying
blacks
it's not
would
inherent
have
in their.
less crime.
I'm saying it's not their blackness that causes the crime. It's the poverty that causes the crime.
I don't know if poverty causes crime. I mean, unwed mothers.
Poverty doesn't cause.
No, it's not blackness that causes crime. Yes, correct.
You don't think poverty
think
causes crime? See, I do think that down deep, the Republicans do have a problem with black people. I really do, because during the New Orleans. Wait a second.
You're the one who wants to abort them to cut down on crime.
But during the New Orleans problem, they were obsessed with shooting looters. Looters being a property crime. While all this death was going on, the thing that really obsessed you guys was let's shoot the people who were getting something out of Radio Shack.
No, I'm glad you mentioned New Orleans, because I think that shows the problem the Democrats have with the blacks, and that is they're constantly willing to, take the votes of black folks, but then accuse them of engaging in cannibalism, of raping 2-year-olds in order to better attack the president. When it serves their political ends, they'll say the most horrible, unbelievable things about blacks, as they did, by the way, in the 2000 election, when they blamed the problem with the butterfly ballot on, blacks are stupid, they couldn't figure it out. Oh, no, Democrats will say horrible things about blacks if it helps them politically, as they did with New Orleans.
I didn't know it was the Democrats who were saying those things. I thought
to attack Bush.
I thought it was the stupid media.
That's one and the same. Sorry, that's an overlap. Oh, no,
okay,
you're right.
Hey.
Welcome back to the Lars Larson Show. It's a pleasure to be with you on a Wednesday night and celebrating 1 year since that day when Americans made a choice to elect a man to the presidency who'd never held any elective office before. And one of his fans, most of the time, is Ann Coulter, the syndicated columnist and best-selling author of In Trump We Trust, E Pluribus Awesome. But she is honest about the way she evaluates politicians. Ann, how are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you, Lars?
I'm great, and I loved your column in talking about, how the Democrats have this wonderful public face of being very, very pure and noble. And behind the scenes, they're up to all kinds of shenanigans. And if you decide to accuse them of shenanigans, they will come after you, if they possibly can, and try to tear you down.
Yes, and the new technique that came to me that I think everyone missed from that Ronan Farrow article, the latest one, on Harvey Weinstein. He had the most devastating article to begin with. You may recall it was commissioned by NBC. But they refused to print it. It really is. One of the most stunning things about the story is, number one, as I say in the column, usually you need a gang to commit that many rapes and sexual assaults. Secondly, which I think has gone completely unnoticed, is just what an incredibly handsome man Harvey Weinstein is. And third, that this technique the left has of doing their sleaze merchantry behind the aegis of a law firm. Mm-hmm. This is something new. As you know, I started writing books with Bill Clinton, the impeachment of Bill Clinton, high crimes and misdemeanors. And we're used to them having henchmen going after the women, throwing slime, muddying people up. But this is an all-new technique the left is using, and it happens to be in the Harvey Weinstein case, and that's what Ronan was writing about this week, Harvey Weinstein spies, he calls it. It's just shocking what these there appears to be behavior that could well be illegal, but it's absolutely disgusting sending spies to lie about their names and identities and who they are with fake foundations to the rape accusers against Weinstein, befriend them, hang out with them, go to dinner with them, pretend to be a big women's rights advocate, all while tape recording them and trying to find out. In the actress Rose McGowan's case, she was writing a book about being, among other things, raped by Harvey Weinstein, to try to get a copy of the book, weasel it out of the hands of this actress. But I thought the most interesting thing, at least in terms of larger political issues rather than just how slimy Democrats are, is that the spies were not hired by Weinstein himself. Oh, no. They were hired by, Conscience of a Nation, David Boies, Al Gore's attorney, the one who fought Proposition 8 in California, and by the one who represented Jeffrey Epstein, the procurer of underage girls for the Democratic Party in Palm Beach. David Boies hires the spies, or the spying agency, and then the spying agency does this disgusting, disreputable, absolutely immoral behavior. What struck me about that is that's exactly how the Democrats and the Hillary Clinton campaign paid for the Russian dossier, which was gossip from Russian officials. They go crazy over that Don Jr. thing.
Yep.
Some woman was trying to get a meeting with Don Jr. And I don't know about you.
Vessel
do this to me all the time. They pretend they want to meet with you about one thing that you might be interested in. You sit down and no, it has nothing to do with that. They're asking you to do something for them. They have nothing for you. And that's how this Russian woman came to meet Don Jr. He didn't request it. He wasn't seeking this. He didn't contact the Russians. He didn't get anything from the Russians. The Democrats together, the Democratic National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign, paid more than $12 million to a law firm, which hired Fusion GPS, which hired Michael Steele, and Michael Steele used money to pay officials with the Russian government. That's how we got the Russian dossier. It's the exact same thing of using a law firm as the cutout. And as I say in the column, what's the advantage here? Well, one kind of leaps right out at me, and that is the famed, the sacred attorney-client privilege. Any communication between a lawyer and his client is privileged. It is held apart from the prying eye of the law, because the idea is to give clients proper representation. We need them to be totally honest, tell us the truth, the whole truth, everything they can tell us, and don't worry, we won't be required. In fact, we can be prevented from telling anyone else. It isn't to hide sleazy liberal behavior.
Well, and by the way, Ann, you're an attorney. Let me ask you, I'm a non-attorney, so let me ask you a question. You have the right to have attorney-client privilege, but if I go to my attorney and say, I want to do something illegal, for instance, I want to defraud.
You can't do that.
No, but isn't that what they do? If a young lady goes off to Rose McGowan and sits down to befriends her and tries to trick her, as in defrauding her, into giving a copy of the book, that is a crime. And if the attorney has involved himself in helping to hire people to commit crimes, that's not protected, is it?
No, it is not. What they would do here, I mean, it's amazing. The Democrats have turned the attorney-client privilege into, it's like a RICO violation. It's like listening to mobsters, order a hit over the telephone. Now, don't do anything illegal. And so in this New Yorker article, I found it, in fact, I originally put it in my column, but it's already sort of complicated to describe what has many similarities to a criminal conspiracy. The whole purpose is to make it complicated, to stay one step ahead of the law. But David Boies the august attorney, made a point of telling Ronan Farrow, well, it says right here in black and white in the contract with the Israel spy agency that they are not to do anything illegal.
Oh.
Now, I don't think that means anything more than it does when you hear some mafioso on the phone saying, take care of Vinny. And don't do anything illegal.
Well, or they almost use the reverse logic of saying, if the mob boss tells you, make sure nothing happens to Ann Coulter. Right. You want to make sure that nothing like for her to step off a subway platform in front of a train, make sure that doesn't happen. And then next week, Ann Coulter ends up, God forbid, in front of a train, and you say, but they said specifically not to let her fall in front of the train. It was almost like Jack Nicholson not ordering the code red in A Few Good Men. It's like, don't do that. But Ann, I want to see these. I mean, Perkins Coie really deserves to be examined closely as a law firm if they were involved in helping to create phony documents to try to sway the outcome of an election, which was clearly the intent of Hillary Clinton and company. You're absolutely right. You got to read her column. It's online. You'll find it at AnnCoulter.com and other places. Ann, it's always a pleasure to have you on the program, and thanks so much for taking the time tonight.
Good to talk to you, Lars. Bye-bye.
Nice to talk to you.